know that politics like affects you. You're choosing to think that it doesn't. Politics affects the price of your milk every week to how much tax you get back. People are saying, well, the older generation has constantly let us down, and now we're stuck here thinking and being kind of like, well, we're being let down. Oh well, I have a HEX debt. I don't vote. I don't know who that is. Instead, we should be like, okay, they're actually raising my HEX debt and making me pay it at certain times. And you should be realizing the things that they're actually doing to us. We don't have to agree with, but what we need right now is speed. Like, we literally don't have time to argue. You don't care about politics, you don't know what it means or you know how it works. You should care. Your kids could be born into not a very nice place. And the world is like not perfect now, so that's saying something.
Being in the drag scene, there is a lot of like problematic people that kind of just make really like shitty comments, and like there's a lot of cultural appropriation and like, you know, outfits and performances, and it's kind of like hard to call that out because it's like they'll be like, no, this is drag culture, and it's like, yeah, but it might have been like in the 80s, but we're trying to push past that. And it's very hard to, because you feel very ostracized in that, because there is a lot of small-minded people in the drag scene.
It pisses a lot of people off sometimes, even in the gay community, for being outwardly liberal and calling people out and stuff, like,
because being gay, you think that you've got like, I don't know, minority points, so you feel like you don't have to be knowledgeable on feminism, on current race issues.
Minorities should support other minorities because you know what it feels like to be a part of a minority, and it's shitty.
Systematic changes in politics, I think, need to engage young people more. I think that's a really big issue, and I think that's something that the system definitely needs to like adapt to, like improve, because I think a lot of young people who just sort of say like politics doesn't affect me say that because politics is never framed in a way that it seems like it could affect them.
In the community, you can get involved, join local groups, join local committees, get your voice heard.
Because we have so much like intake, so much from the world, I feel more invested in like America's politics than I do our own.
Now more than ever, it is so easy. You should go out and learn about what's happening. You can sign up for the ABC News, you can look on Facebook, you can look on the internet, you can go on TV, you can literally walk down the street and you'll see advertisements, posters, propaganda, everything. And that's both amazing, but also we have to become aware and critical thinkers and analyse what we're seeing and try to figure out what is the truth, because a lot of the time media does present a biased or a certain perspective because they are trying to push an agenda or they're trying to help a political party or a certain big corporate group push an agenda.
I'm really scared about the Australian system going the American way, which is like deregulated unis, and what we need to do is have a complete kind of shakedown of who's in power.
I think coalitions are very important for like changing the structure of how we run big corporations and even smaller corporations and groups and businesses, because these corporations have been controlled by typically white males. They have a particular way of thinking and personality traits that are favoured, and that's seen through so many studies that have shown that like lack of agreeableness and assertiveness and more psychopathic personality traits are favoured over empathy and kindness and compassion, and biologically this is the more masculine traits. You have to be in the systems that are causing you the most frustration and causing the most suffering to the world, because ultimately that's what we are trying to alleviate. Everyone suffers, and I think a way around that is not just political correctness and tolerance, but being polite and being empathetic and open and understanding.
Anyone that thinks they're a liberal Democrat is lying to themselves. Australia's economy is very unique, which I do enjoy it. Like, we get that free healthcare. We get the benefits of going to uni for free. It's another thing you just to the back of your mind. But technically it is there. We do have the Australian dream, where you can work your way up through small businesses, and there are heaps of incentives to start your own business, and our society does support that. But at the end of the day, what's happening is our politics are being driven by big business, and as much as they talk it up to get the votes, they're like, oh, we're there for small business, we're here for the small business. And they're like corporately funded by big donations, by companies that aren't doing very good things.
I'm an artist and I'm studying to be a full-time revolutionary. Chairman O'Malley Shatella explains how if we understand that the capital stolen from Africa in the original colonization of Africa, that capital was never returned. You couldn't have capitalism without that stolen wealth. So now the party basically guides you to understand the contradictions of colonialism and capitalism as a result. And my job as a white person is to siphon reparations out of the white community for economic development in Africa.
Corporate stuff, it kind of takes away a lot of the love in the world because people surround around money and kind of just want possessions and wealth. When I wish that the whole world could kind of just work together in harmony.
Everything is about competing and it's about succeeding, and like, trust me, this is coming from someone who's an incredibly competitive person, but I think the way that capitalism has positioned our minds, and this reflects in education, like everything is ranked and everything is competing, is that to succeed you need to be better than everyone, and everything's about like you as an individual and how like you can become better. As human beings, we are pack animals, and we have always succeeded by working together, and we always like want to create those genuine emotional connections with someone. And yet at the same time, we're living in an individualized society that tells us that to succeed, we have to compete, we have to get better. And I think that's most reflective in school. Like, I think that's a microcosm for what's happening in the rest of the world, is that all of your closest friends are your classmates, and then they're also the people that you're needing to compete with in order to like succeed. The most successful countries in terms of capitalism, in terms of wealth and education standards, everyone's doing that a little bit better. They're all the countries that have the highest level of suicide rate. We wonder why their education is so competitive, and like from kindy you need to be doing better than everyone else to like succeed. And like America and Australia even have such bad suicide rates because it's like, and you look at them, like they have a strong economy, they have good education, but it's like we've defined good economy and good education as like better than someone else and constantly competing. And I think that's just so against our like innate human nature to want to like create these connections and want to be a pack animal.
Every industry I'm interested in plays into that consumer culture as well, which gives me like, you know, like ethical dilemmas.
I'm Eliza.
I'm Tobias.